What's happening, hombres? Bridget here, and welcome back to my channel. Now, we are here at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, and as y'all can see here, I'm not wearing a mask because obviously we have to wear a mask, but we are here at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Now, I haven't been here in so long, but yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so we got this big boy right here. This is the Glyptodon, of which this was a giant prehistoric armadillo. So this guy here was about the size of an ATV, and the armor plating on its back was used to defend itself against predators like the Smilodon. Because this thing was around in South America during the time of the giant saber-toothed cat, Smilodon. So, a Smilodon would have a hard time trying to get past this thick armor that's on its back. So what y'all are looking at is a giant prehistoric relative of...
Don't do that, Elliot's listening.
...of the armadillo. So, yeah, that's the Glyptodon, the giant prehistoric armadillo. So, moving on over here, we got these guys. Look at that. Teleoceras fossiger. Don't think I've ever recognized these. Ooh, this is a camel relative. What is the Stenomylus tyleri? But, oh, look at this. This is Comphotherium. Don't think I've ever heard of these. But these guys are pretty much most of the prehistoric animals that were found all throughout the world. Ooh, look at this guy. This is the terror bird of what is called Diatryma. I don't really know the actual name of this, but this guy was around also in South America during the same time as Smilodon, and these guys were actually scavengers. Like, these guys would go all across the South American savannas, feasting on carcasses. Now, they did, well, yes, they also hunted, but these guys would mainly hunt smaller animals like juvenile Smilodons. So if you were a juvenile Smilodon and if you wandered away from your clan, you would have to watch out for these guys. So this guy's why that as a juvenile Smilodon, you have to stay close to your parents because otherwise you're gonna get eaten. But these big boys right here are, well, this guy right here, this guy right here is the king of the dinosaurs, T-Rex. So this guy grew up to 40 feet long, stood 12 feet tall, and weighed 8 tons. Well, actually 6 tons. So this guy was huge. But these guys, so this is a full-grown adult. And juvenile T-Rex would actually work together hunting. And the way that they would hunt is that they would hide within the cover of the trees so that they can conceal themselves from other prey, like Triceratops up here. And these guys would communicate with each other not by roaring out, but by making low-frequency rumbles, which can only be heard by themselves. Which those rumbles are beyond human hearing, by the way. So these guys would communicate with each other through that, and then once they find the target, then they sprint out and get it. But Triceratops here, this guy was twice the size of a modern rhino. How about that? Twice the size of a modern rhino. These guys fought all the time. Like, T-Rex would constantly try to get one of these giants. So what the herd did is that they would well, they would line up in a row while the young get behind them, and the adults would get in line and basically just flail their horns around. And the way that they would do it was all like this, just roaring out, waving their horns around. And if one of these guys gets too close, they have a pretty big chance of either getting hit and dying, or just getting a bit of a scar, which will leave their pride dented. So, now, what are those tiny arms used for? Nobody knows, but now here's the thing. This looks like a male, because male T-Rexes were actually smaller than the females. So the largest ones were the females. These guys grew up from between about 35 to 40 feet long. So the males would actually use their tiny arms to hold on to the females during mating. But, well, life of the Rex was brutal. So once the male and the female had mated, the next morning, the female will shun her mate away and basically break up with him and basically just don't go away, and it's her time to shine. So, yeah, that is the life of the T-Rex, and just look how big this guy is compared to me. Man, this guy is huge. Man, I love the T-Rex. And my God, the choice. This thing is easily capable of flipping over a truck if it really wanted to. Good grief, this guy is huge. Oh man, but check out this guy. This is a mosasaur. These guys grew up to about 50 feet long. And these guys fed on sharks, turtles, giant squid, even each other. So these guys were the top dominant oceanic predators in the late Cretaceous. So if you were in the water, you would have a pretty big chance of getting eaten by these guys. So the seas back then were not safe because of these guys. Like, these guys were everywhere in the ocean. But oh man, check out this guy. This is Edmontosaurus, which is actually in the same family as the Maiasaura, of which its teeth, which are right there. These guys don't chew. Well, they didn't move their jaws like we can, but instead they would actually move their jaws from side to side, grinding up the vegetation that's in their mouths. So these guys walked on two legs. Well, they ran on two legs, and they also walked on two. So these guys were both bipedal and were four-legged walkers as well. And these guys traveled in herds of like 20 to about like 25, mainly elders, females, and young. So Edmontosaurus herds were big, and these guys were also very likely prey items for guys like the T-Rex there. Didn't mean to show its ass, but whatever. So this is Haplocanthosaurus. This is a sauropod. These guys were huge. And okay, let's see if I can get to his head. Hey there, big guy. Man, these guys were huge. Ooh, now this guy. This is this is Allosaurus. So these guys were the lions of the Jurassic. So these guys were the top predators of their age. These guys grew up to about 33 to about 39 feet long and weighed about 8 tons. But these guys are fast. So a fully grown adult T-Rex here ran at 17 miles per hour, while a young T-Rex ran at about 25 miles per hour. These guys ran at speeds of up to 31 to 35 miles per hour. So trying to get away from one of these guys is almost impossible. Now, these guys were the lions of the Jurassic, the top predators of their age. And these guys hunted in groups of about 4 to even 5 and 6. So a group of Allosaurus would easily take down a sauropod like this guy here. So that's the Allosaurus. Man, I am like a little kid in a candy store here. This is Coelophysis. This, believe it or not, was actually the very first dinosaur to ever evolve. These guys were, I'm going to say, about the size of chickens. So these guys were around in the late Triassic about 230 to about 200 million years ago. And these guys were the very first dinosaurs to ever evolve. You know, they didn't really look much like dinosaurs, but they were. And as you all probably saw, walking with dinosaurs, these guys were vicious in groups. So that's Coelophysis, the very first dinosaur to ever evolve in the late Triassic. But man, look at this. We got Ichthyosaurus. Well, we got some Ichthyosaurus. We got some marine reptiles. We got Archaeopteryx there. Some giant marine crocodiles and such. So yeah. Oh man, check out this guy. This is Dimetrodon, the finback reptile. These guys were actually, so believe it or not, this guy is one of our ancestors. And take a look at its teeth. So it has teeth on the front, which are used for cutting and slicing, while the teeth in the back were used for other things. So we actually have a smaller version of those teeth in our house today, and these sails were actually used to control body temperature. So they would aim their sails at the sun, of which the heat goes into the sails, and when that happens, blood gets pumped into the sails, of which the heat from the sun gets absorbed into the blood, and it warms up their bodies. So that's pretty much how we control our body temperature today, except that we don't have big sails on our backs. But this guy was the top predator of the late Permian period. And this here is a giant amphibian, which it's not Hynerberton, but it's Erops megacephalus. Never heard of that guy before, but yeah. What the heck? Okay, I have no idea what that is. But yeah, let's move on, shall we?
Which is why we get to have
Check out this guy. This is Dunkleosteus. This guy was lethal back in the Devonian period. This guy grew up to about 20 or 25 feet long, weighed about 4 or 5 tons, and those teeth were actually part of its skull. These were giant armored fish. And its head there was about 2 inches thick. Like, that's a really thick skull. And these guys could bite through anything, even bone. Now, these guys were cannibals. they would even eat their own kind, and especially juveniles. But they didn't swallow the armor bits, so they would actually regurgitate of the armor so that they don't get internal bleeding and all that. So now being in the water with one of these guys is a death wish. So if you think you can outrun these guys, good luck, because this guy's gonna get you. You're not safe in the water when this guy's around. So, Dunkleosteus. And its name, by the way, means Dunkel's bone. I forget how it got that name, but this guy was big. He was actually way bigger than this, like a lot bigger. Oh, look at this. Some creatures from the Devonian period as well. Okay, we got some trilobites. We got an orthicone. Oh, now this is the skull of Dunkleosteus. Look at that. So the armor plating on its set there was over 2 inches thick, which that's capable of just biting through pretty much anything. And as a matter of fact, this guy can even bite through chainmail because it's so powerful that it could bite through pretty much anything. And there's a juvenile. So these guys would actually eat each other because, well, that's obviously how they would survive. So we also got some more fossils here. Now, this guy here, he's still alive. This is the coelacanth. So believe it or not, this guy is still alive. So this guy is a living fossil. So these guys are actually part of the lungfish family, which these guys have been around since about the same time as Coelophysis. So these guys are around these guys have been around since the early Triassic. So this is a living fossil right here, which is actually really, really cool. Like, it's so cool, man. Man, I'm loving this place. But wait, there's actually a lot more to this than y'all think. So I will see y'all once we get to a better part of it. So yeah. I'm gonna check this out. So this right here is the skull of what paleontologists are still confusing it to be either a Nanotyrannus or a juvenile version of this guy. But honestly, I think it's a Nanotyrannus. If you want to pause the video to read this, then I'll go ahead, because this is so interesting to me. Look at this. The tiny tyrant. I guess that makes sense, but man, its head is actually smaller than I remember, because I did come here once, but this guy was actually really small, so yeah. Oh my god! Whoa! Whoa, it actually like shakes. Oh my god! That was crazy. Now that's what I call shaking bacon.
scary, hairy spider. They talk about how nasty all that hair is. Meanwhile, this little animal has some of the most beautiful colors of any animal I've ever been lucky to work with. Now, guys, I want to show you in someone's basement. Ladies and gentlemen, the authorities saw that animal, those two animals, confiscated them, and then we, Little Ray's Nature Center, paid to have the permits and the transportation to send Mom and Dad all the way from Texas to all the way from Canada to Gladys Porter's Texas. There, Mom and Dad, they got food, safety, good temperatures, and after a little bit, they had babies of their own. As a thank you, guys, to let us know how grateful they were, we took those children so that we could teach the audience about an animal.
gonna come when the sun goes down. The riverside, marked off with a granite stone, and the date I died. Let down for no good reason, chose to walk the way I did. And now whatever I see coming up ahead, now the devil's gonna come when the sun goes down.